A teenager sits across the kitchen table with a laptop still open, describing some uncertain plan. A business idea, maybe? An art career? A path that doesn't come with a job title anyone else in the family recognizes. The parent listens, nods, and reaches for a sentence they've probably used before. "We just want you to be secure." It sounds loving because it is, but a child can carry away a very different lesson. Uncertainty is irresponsible. Some of the money phrases children carry furthest into adulthood are the ones that sound the most helpful. These are 7 helpful money phrases that quietly keep kids broke by shaping how they earn, plan, negotiate, and decide what kind of financial life feels available to them. And number 5 may be the easiest one for a parent to say without thinking, because it sounds less like money advice than a lesson in good character. Stay for that one. Number 1 is already sitting on the table. "We just want you to be secure." This sentence used once is rarely the problem. Repetition is what gives it weight. For a parent who has survived layoffs, unpaid bills, or years when every unexpected envelope felt threatening, security is a promise. A dependable job can provide income, benefits, routine, and relief. The trouble begins when security is described as one narrow arrangement. Find a safe employer, collect a predictable paycheck, and avoid anything uncertain enough to make the family nervous. Years later, that child may stay in a dead-end job because leaving feels reckless. Accept the first salary offered because negotiation could disturb a secure thing, or reject an unfamiliar path before examining the actual risk. A secure-looking job can still leave one person dependent on a decision made in a meeting they were never invited to. A fuller answer might sound like, "We want you to build a stable life. Let's look at the income, the risks, the skills you would gain, and the options this path could create." Security can include a good job. It can also include savings, useful skills, strong relationships, low obligations, ownership, and the ability to leave. That narrow definition of security leads into number 2, which can shape something even deeper, where a child believes they belong. That's for people with money. A child points at a trip, a neighborhood, an investing app, a summer program, or some alarming object that costs more because a celebrity's name has been printed on it. The family cannot buy it, or does not believe it is worth the price. "That's for people with money," ends the request quickly. It also creates 2 groups: people who travel, invest, hire experts, own businesses, and enter certain rooms, and people like us, standing outside those rooms and pretending we were never curious. The parent meant, "We are not spending on that." The child may absorb, "That world is not for me." That belief can survive long after the family's circumstances change. The adult does not compare the cost, research the scholarship, learn how investing works, or apply for the opportunity. Rejection never arrives because they quietly reject themselves first. A limit can be honest without becoming an identity. That is not something we can choose right now, but we can still understand what it costs, why people value it, and how someone might make it possible. We may not have access today. The subject is still allowed. That is how a practical limit becomes a childhood money script. Like the video and subscribe to Raise to Spend for more on the beliefs children absorb before anyone realizes they are being taught. And stay for number 7, because it is probably the easiest phrase on this list to mistake for healthy resilience. Number 3 sounds almost impossible to argue with, "as long as you're happy." This one usually comes from a parent trying very hard to be decent. They remember being pushed toward the respectable career, the impressive title, or the life that looked good to relatives at weddings. They want their child to feel loved without having to earn that love through a salary. Happiness matters. A large paycheck has never been able to sit beside someone at 2 a.m. and convince them their life has meaning. But "as long as you're happy" can end the financial part of a career conversation. Just as it becomes useful, the child is encouraged to follow a passion without examining the structure beneath it. Training costs, typical income, unstable years, transferable skills, location, debt, and the lifestyle that income can realistically support. Then, the first serious bill arrives, and the young adult feels guilty for caring about money. They were told to choose happiness as though rent had agreed to stay out of it. Support becomes more useful with one extra sentence. "I care about whether this life makes you happy. Let's also look at what it pays. what it costs, what the path requires, and how you could make it sustainable. A dream deserves encouragement. It also deserves numbers. The number 4 phrase usually begins as protection. Don't worry about money, we'll handle it. A child hears tension through the bedroom wall. A card has been declined. A parent has lost work. School fees are due. The adults lower their voices, straighten their faces, and say, "You do not need to worry, we'll handle it." That instinct can be deeply healthy. Children should not become unpaid household therapists with a minor in accounts payable. They should not feel responsible for rescuing the family or carrying fear they cannot act on. But protection can slowly become exclusion. If every question is waved away, money begins to look like a mysterious adult machine, complicated, private, vaguely dangerous, and somehow handled by whoever appears most confident. Then, adulthood arrives with rent, taxes, insurance, contracts, interest, utilities, salary deductions, and 6 subscriptions that each looked harmless at $9.99. The child was protected from panic, but also missed the rehearsals. The CFPB says money habits and norms begin taking shape strongly between ages 6 and 12 as children form identities and watch family behavior. PISA 2022 found an association between regular parent-child discussions about spending and higher financial literacy scores among 15-year-olds, though it could not show that the conversations caused the difference. Children do not need the full household balance sheet. They need calm, age-appropriate visibility. You do not need to carry this problem, but I can show you how we are thinking through it. That might mean comparing 2 options, explaining why a purchase is delayed, showing an older child how a bill was planned for, or letting them watch a subscription get canceled because the free trial has completed its ancient ritual of becoming permanent. Money can be serious without becoming forbidden. Number 5 is the one many parents say almost automatically, because it sounds like a lesson in character rather than money. Be grateful. Some kids have nothing. A child complains about an old phone, a smaller birthday party, or shoes that remain tragically capable of protecting both feet. A parent, exhausted by the complaint and very aware of what the family has sacrificed, reaches for perspective. Gratitude is valuable. Children should understand that comfort is not automatic, and that another person's effort may be hiding inside an ordinary possession. Still, gratitude can become the sentence used to close every uncomfortable financial question. The child may start to believe that wanting improvement is selfish. Comparing choices feels disrespectful. Asking for better pay sounds greedy. Leaving an underpaid job feels disloyal because someone once gave them a chance. They learn to accept poor value with a smile, then call the silence good character. That is how a moral lesson can quietly become a financial ceiling. A grateful person can still negotiate. They can appreciate an opportunity and notice that the arrangement no longer works. They can respect what their parents provided and build something different without treating the past as a mistake. We can be grateful for what we have and still talk honestly about what you want, why you want it, and whether it makes sense. Gratitude and ambition can sit at the same table. They just should not be forced to impersonate each other. That tension between appreciating what you have and building something better leads directly into number 6. A good job is all you need. For many parents, a good job genuinely changed the family's life. It brought a stable income, healthcare, housing, respect, perhaps a pension, and the first stretch of years when the future stopped feeling like an emergency. That strategy deserves respect. The dangerous word is all. A child can grow up believing that once employment is secured, the financial plan is complete. They learn how to become useful to an employer, but not always how to negotiate the value they create. Keep fixed costs under control. Build savings, invest gradually, or prepare for an industry that may change around them. The adult can earn well and remain fragile. The next month still depends on the next month of work. One employer, one industry, one healthy body, one stream of income. A paycheck can be a strong foundation without carrying the whole building. A good job can give you a strong start. Let's also think about the skills, savings, ownership, and options that keep one job from controlling your entire future. That does not require turning a 12-year-old into a tiny venture capitalist who calls breakfast a networking opportunity. It means teaching them that employment is one financial position, not the only position available. And then comes number 7, the phrase that can make planning feel unnecessary. precisely because it sounds so resilient. We'll figure it out. A family is considering a trip, a school, a move, a larger car, a loan, or a purchase whose total cost has not yet been invited into the conversation. Someone asks how it will work. The parent pauses and says, with the confidence families have used to survive for generations, we'll figure it out. Often they do. Families adapt. Extra work appears. Plans change. An aunt knows someone. A refund arrives at exactly the moment it begins to feel like divine intervention. Resourcefulness is real, and children should see that uncertainty does not make the future hopeless. But, repeated often enough, we'll figure it out can become permission to commit before calculating. The child may learn that future income will rescue present decisions. Put it on the card. Sign the agreement. Take the loan. Upgrade now. Next month will be easier. The raise will come, and the future version of us will apparently be more disciplined, despite receiving no training whatsoever. Years later, the child is an adult staring at a contract or a large purchase. They hear themselves say the familiar words. They may not remember the kitchen where they first learned them. They remember the feeling. Do not look too closely. Begin now. The details belong to later. Some adults become remarkably skilled at surviving problems that preparation could have made smaller. Recovery starts to feel like proof that the original decision was sound. A more complete version keeps the optimism and adds a flashlight. We may not know everything yet. Let's identify what we know, what this will cost, what could go wrong, and what our backup would be. We can adapt. We should still look before we leap. The real question is whether a child receives the nuance behind a reassuring phrase or is left to turn it into a permanent rule about money, work, identity, and adulthood. Parents do not need 7 perfect replacement scripts memorized beside the emergency numbers. Sometimes one extra sentence is enough. After saying something reassuring, notice the question it just closed. Did the sentence describe the family's current choice or define where the child belongs? Did it protect them from adult pressure or remove them from understanding? Did it teach resilience or quietly excuse the absence of a plan? That extra explanation may matter years later, when the teenager from the kitchen faces a job decision, a contract, or a cost they did not expect. The old phrase may return before they even know they are remembering it. For now, back at the kitchen table, the parent pauses before giving the usual answer. The reassuring sentence still comes. This time, one more line follows it. An explanation, a question, a small glimpse of how the decision is actually being made. The child may forget the exact words. They may remember that money was something the family could face, question, understand, and plan around. The phrase was never the whole lesson. What came after it was. If you want to catch more of the beliefs children absorb before they harden into adult habits, subscribe to Raise to Spend. We explore the quiet money lessons that build ownership, patience, leverage, and options before the first paycheck arrives.